Hi guys. Have you ever wondered what really makes a happy life? It's not money, fame, or American words. It's what we choose to keep in our hearts. Andrew Carnegie, the man from a poor boy, become a symbol of success and happiness, used to say, a wise man always hide three things from anyone. But what is BA? And why hide them? It can help you live more wisely, more peaceful and more fun. Today we're going on a journey through the stories and teachings of the great, from Leonardo da Vinci. Socrates came to Gandhi to discover this secret. I promise you, by the end of this video, you will see your life in a new way. Not showing it all. It keeps what's most important. Are you ready? Let's get started with the first thing a wise man always hides. A hidden secret, the path to success. Have you ever wondered why the most successful people, they often talk less about their plans? It's because they understand a profound truth. The one who knows the secret knows the way. Success in life. We're often tempted to share everything from our dreams. Plan for the first steps in the hope of getting support or recognition. But the great men of history have taught us that sometimes silence is power. And keep the intention hidden. It's the key to making dreams come true. Let's explore this through timeless stories and teachings. Let's start with Leonardo da Vinci, the genius of the Renaissance, who left his mark with paintings like the Mona Lisa and timeless inventions. Did you know that Leonardo, is he famous for keeping his ideas private? He wrote back all the notes in his notebook with a code that only you understand. From aircraft blueprints to weapons design, you don't share them with the crowd, not to brag to the nobles. You keep a secret to protect your creativity from being copied or destroyed by us. Leonardo once said, "Nothing is more powerful than an idea when its time has not yet come." He understood that if you reveal the idea too early, they can be stifled by suspicion or competition. It was that silence that helped him to perfect the works of life, leaving a legacy that the world admires. Let's take a look at Andrew Carnegie, the Steel King of America, who turned himself from a poor immigrant boy, one of the richest men of the 19th century. When Carnegie began to build his empire, he didn't publicize the plan. Acquisition of small steel mills. You work in the dark. Discreet negotiations with partners. Keep your strategy in front of competitors. Only when everything is done. When the contracts are signed, the factories are in his hands. New competitors realized they'd been overtaken. Carnegie once said, "The wise man never reveal your entire hand before the game is over." You know that secrecy is a competitive advantage. If you were open from the beginning, the enemy may have blocked the way, or investors may question his abilities. It was that secrecy that brought him to the top. Now let's move on to a more modern example. Steve Jobs. When Apple started developing the iPhone, Jobs was not in the press, bragging or revealing details. He kept everything from design, features to launch date, in a tight secret ring. Even Apple employees. I know only a small part of the project. When the iPhone came out with the 2007, IT stunned the world. Jobs once said, "We don't talk about the future, we create it." If you were open from the beginning, competitors like Nokia or BlackBerry, maybe they copied the idea. The market may be suspicious. An unfinished product. Jobs hit. The iPhone has changed the way we live today. This philosophy is not just for the great. It's been in ancient cultures. In the religion of China, it's believed that keeping your intentions secret helps you accumulate gas, the internal energy to achieve the goal. The great philosopher once wrote, "The one who keeps his secret is like a deep river. Quiet surface, but inside is infinite power." He compared keeping a secret to incubating a seed. In the dark land, if you dig it up too early and expose it to the sun, it will die before it sprouts. So is your idea. It takes time to grow in silence. Before you are ready to go out into the world, think of Cleopatra, the powerful Egyptian queen. As she struggles to hold the throne before him, boys and enemies, she didn't make all her plans public. She secretly allied with Julius Caesar, keeping the diplomatic strategy secret until the time is right. IT was that secrecy that helped her consolidate power and become a symbol of intelligence. An ancient Egyptian proverb says, "Silence is gold, but determination is gold." Cleopatra understood that if she revealed her intentions too soon, the enemy may have overthrown her before she could act. But why is IT so important to keep a secret? Modern science has the answer, and psychologists have found that when you share your plans with others, the brain secretes dopamine, a substance that creates feelings of satisfaction, as if you had achieved your goal. This reduces the motivation to actually act. Psychologist Peter Gowitzel once said, "Public intent can kill action." So when you keep IT a secret, you keep the fire inside you to keep trying. Instead of being distracted by compliments or just extract from others. Let's look at a short story from Benjamin Franklin. When Franklin invented the lightning rod, he wasn't in a hurry to brag to everyone. He silently tested the design adjustment, and only when it worked perfectly did he announce it. Franklin wrote in his autobiography, "Let your success speak instead of your mouth." If you were open from the beginning, maybe other scientists made fun of him, or his ideas are stolen before they're finished. So what can we learn from these great men? It's a Greek proverb that says, "The secret is the companion of the winner." Hiding intentions is not about being selfish or isolated. It's how you protect your dreams from being suspected, copy or destroy. It gives you space to think, finish it, and act without outside pressure. How to apply this to your life today? Think of a goal you're cherishing. It could be a business project, a new skill, or a major life change. Instead of telling people right away, keep it in your heart. Write IT down on paper, planning in detail, and start acting in silence. Leonardo kept a secret in the encrypted notebook. Carnegie kept quiet during the negotiations. Jobs kept it in the lab. Keep it in your mind and in your actions. The poet Rumi once said, "Your secret is your treasure. Don't let it fall into the hands of the unworthy." When you keep it private, you don't just protect the idea. You protect yourself. A Japanese proverb that also teaches, "The high tree catches the wind who goes a long way in secret." Successful people are not the loudest speakers. They are the ones who keep quiet at the right time. Let's imagine if Carnegie came out with a plan to buy steel. If Jobs unveiled the iPhone from the start. If Cleopatra reveals her alliance with Caesar. Will they achieve what they did? Definitely not. What secret will you keep today? Get closer to your success. Let's choose one thing. Dream a plan and keep it to yourself. Work in silence and let your results speak. That's how the great ones did it. And that's how you can do it. The sign of desire, the sign of wisdom. We've seen that. Keeping a secret is the first step. To live wisely and achieve success. But the wisdom doesn't stop there. Andrew Carnegie. WHO inspires us today. We believe that happiness doesn't come from showing it all. It's about choosing what you expose. The second thing a wise man needs to hide: the desire to talk too much. Because, as a profound statement points out, when a person's intelligence increases, his desire to talk is down. The great men of history have taught us that excess words don't just devalue you. It also robs you of peace and happiness in your soul. Let's explore this through timeless stories and teachings. Let's start with Socrates, the great philosopher of ancient Greece. He is considered the father of Western philosophy. Socrates was famous for his method of asking questions, to search for the truth. But what few people notice: you talk very little about yourself. In the face of unreasonable arguments or arrogant students, he was not in a hurry to refute or boast of his knowledge. Instead, he listened, asked questions, and let others see their mistakes. Socrates once said, "I know that I know nothing." A humble but wise statement. He understood that speaking less was not just a way to learn. It's also a way to keep your soul at peace. Avoid meaningless arguments. To disturb happiness. That's the savings. He became a symbol of wisdom. Leave a legacy for centuries to come. Let's look at Andrew Carnegie himself. In the years of building the steel empire, Carnegie regularly participated in the negotiations, tensions with competitors and investors. But you're not the one who talks the most. In the room, he listens and only speaks when necessary. It's usually to make a short but sharp statement, enough to end the problem. Carnegie wrote in his autobiography, "Words are silver, silence is gold. But knowing when to be quiet is the most precious thing." He believed that happiness doesn't come from arguing. Oh, prove yourself right. It comes from the calmness that you have. Hiding the desire to talk too much. The selection in words that helped him not only succeed, but to live a life of contentment and meaning. Now, let's move on to another example. Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. It's a symbol of inner peace. When the Buddha went to preach, you often meet challenges, from rival monks to skeptics. One man comes in front of him and make a strong insult. Deliberate provocation. The Buddha did not respond. He just sat quietly, smiling softly. When the man asked why he didn't react, the Buddha replied, "If you give me a gift, I won't accept. That gift belongs to about you." This teaching is so profound. It makes a man think and leave in silence. The Buddha understood that talking less is not just a sign of wisdom. It's also a way to stay happy. Stay away from negative emotions. that an excess of words can bring. This philosophy also appears in Eastern culture. Lao Tzu, the great religious philosopher, once written in the Bible, "Those who know do not say, those who speak do not know." He compares the wise to water, the deep silence, and there's no need to brag to prove your strength. He believed that talking too much was a sign of insecurity. When you really understand deeply, you don't have to prove it verbally. Silence does not only bring wisdom, it also leads to a happy life. Because you don't get caught up in arguments or conflicts. Not necessary. Think of Queen Elizabeth, Emperor, and they are known for their leadership in difficult times. In the face of advisors, intense arguments or threats from the enemy, she kept quiet until everything was clear. She told the court, "I don't talk much, but I hear everything." Your meekness is not weakness. That's how she kept calm and kept the storm going. Protect your inner happiness and make wise decisions. The very wisdom of hiding the desire to speak helped her rule England through the Golden Age. Modern science also supports this. Psychologists like Carl Rogers have shown that listen more than talk. IT is not just improving relationships. IT also reduces stress and increases the sense of satisfaction in life. Rogers once said that silence is the language of understanding. When you hide your desire to talk, you open up space for reflection, learn and connect more deeply with others. The core elements of a happy life. Another short story from Confucius, the great philosopher of China. 1x1, the student asked him, "Master, how to live wisely?" Confucius was silent for a moment and then replied, "Use your ears more than your mouth." He explained that the wise are not in a hurry to speak. They listen to understand, and only speak when the words are really valuable. Not confident that happiness does not lie in being heard. It's knowing that you've lived in accordance with your wisdom. So what can we learn from these great men? It's an ancient Roman proverb. The words fly away and silence remains. The sign of desire to speak is not the loss of voice. That's how you give your voice weight. More than it keeps you away from useless arguments. Keep your soul at peace and live a happier life. In the spirit of Andrew Carnegie's How to Apply This Today. Think about the times when you feel compelled to speak. In a meeting, it's a debate, or even a family conversation. Instead of Chen, come in. Stop listening and ask yourself, is this word necessary? Socrates listened to find the truth. Carnegie was silent to negotiate. Buddha smiles to keep peace. Try to speak less to feel the difference. The poet Rumi once said, "Outside there is noise. In this is silence. Choose where you want to live." A Japanese proverb that also teaches, "Silent mouth of wisdom." When you hide the impulse in your words, you don't just get wiser. You find happiness in the calm. People like Queen Elizabeth or Confucius live like that. They say little, but every word leaves a lasting mark. Imagine if Socrates argued with every fool. If Carnegie talks too much in negotiations. If the Buddha answered every insult. Will they live happily and leave a legacy like today? Not sure. So today, what words will you hide to nourish wisdom and my happiness? Let's choose a moment, a conversation, an argument, and try to be quiet. You'll see that wisdom doesn't lie in speaking out loud. It's about knowing how to stay still. Hide your reaction to a fool, the power of silence. We've discovered two things that a wise man needs to hide: the secret to success and a desire to talk too much. By Andrew Carnegie. Inspiring people for today's journey. There's one more thing to do with happiness. Silence is the best answer for fools. The great men of history have taught us that. Hide the anger, or react to meaningless words. It is not just a sign of wisdom. It's also the key to keep a peaceful and happy life. Let's find out. Through these timeless stories and teachings. Let's start with Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and the great Stoic philosopher. Throughout his reign, he faced a lot of criticism from officials, hatred and political enemies. One his courtiers publicly ridiculed him in front of the court. He called him a weakling for not retaliating against the enemy. Immediately, Marcus did not respond. He looked at that person with calm eyes and keep working. Later in the book he wrote, "Do the best you can and let stupid words pass like the wind." Marcus understood that. React to idiots. It only hurts your own peace. Silence is not just a way of protecting dignity. It's a way to stay happy in the midst of life's storms. His calmness helped him to rule. Because through times of chaos, leave the legacy of a leader, wise and serene. Let's look at Andrew Carnegie himself. In the years of building the steel empire, he was often criticized by opponents and the press. They call you greedy, who only knows how to run for profit. But Carnegie rarely responded. You focus on work, building a library and doing charity. Instead of getting into an argument, you used to say, "I don't waste time with people who don't understand me." My happiness lies in what I create, not what I said. For Carnegie, Hide your reaction to stupid words. It's how you keep your soul light. Stay away from stress to live a meaningful and joyful life. Just like the hidden spirit, he wants to talk about a happy life. Let's turn now to Mahatma Gandhi, a symbol of peace and non-violence. When Gandhi led the movement for Indian independence, he was killed by his brother. And some of my fellow citizens have made fun of it. One ex-1 officer, he publicly insulted him in front of the crowd, called him a ragged lunatic. Gandhi didn't say anything, he just smiled and kept walking. He later explained that I don't argue with darkness. I lit a candle. Gandhi believes that silence in front of a fool is not losing. It's how you keep your inner strength and live happily. Don't get caught up in negative emotions. His silence was inspiring for millions of people and change a country. This philosophy also appears in Eastern culture. The page of a famous religious philosopher. I told a story about a man. Neighbors yelled at me for letting chickens run into the yard. Instead of arguing, the man just laughed and fixed the fence. Writing page. Silence is the shield of the wise. It protects you from the arrows of fools. He believed that reacting to stupid words, it just makes you lose your cool. And silence helps you keep your joy and your clarity. That's why religion emphasizes silence as the path to a happy life. Think about Nelson Mandela. For 27 years in prison, he was humiliated by the Psy and the enemy. I don't know how many times they call you a traitor, a useless traitor. But Mandela didn't respond with words. He kept quiet. Focus on the greater goal of freedom for our people. When he was released, he said, "I've learned that answering fools only makes me like them. Silence helps me keep myself." Your silence is not just wisdom. It's the power that keeps you happy, even in adversity, and ultimately led him to a historic victory. Modern science agrees. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, who studies emotional intelligence, point out that reactions to negative words activate the amygdala, the part of the brain that causes stress. It makes you lose your cool. He said, "Silence is the most powerful tool for emotional control." And live happily. When you hide your anger, you're not just protecting your mind. You still keep your happiness that no one can steal. Another short story from Abraham Lincoln. When he was president, Lincoln, often attacked by the press and political opponents, they called him an incompetent farmer. One ex-1 opposition MP scolded him in front of Congress. "Because of your policy." Lincoln did not respond. He just smiled and kept working. He later told the secretary, "If I answer every stupid question, I don't have time to lead." Spirit needs to understand that silence is not just wisdom. It's how you keep your soul light, to focus on what's important, bring happiness to yourself and your country. So what can we learn from these great men? It's a Greek proverb that says, "Silence is the voice of the strong." Reacting to a fool is not giving in. It's how you protect your dignity and live happier. It's the spirit that Carnegie was in. An Arabic proverb also teaches. A fool's word is the wind that lets it fly. And you'll keep the peace. How to apply this today? Think about the times when you were provoked. A criticism from a colleague. A malicious comment online. Or a small argument in the family. Instead of responding immediately, stop breathing deeply and smile like Gandhi, Lincoln or Mandela D. Marcus Aurelius lets the wind go. Carnegie focused on creativity. Fence repair site in silence. And you try to hold still and see what happens. The poet Rumi once said, "Let silence answer what words cannot." A Russian proverb also teaches, "The fool shouts, the silent wise." And the world knows who's who. When you hide your anger, you don't just get stronger. You find joy in self-control. That's how people like Mandela and Lincoln lived. They are silent in front of idiots. And their happiness is not contagious. Let's imagine if Marcus Aurelius argued with his courtier, if Gandhi responded to your officer, if Mandela screamed in prison, whether they can stay happy and leave a legacy like today? No, definitely not. So what reaction will you hide today? To keep peace and live happier. Let's choose a moment, a silly word, a provocation, and try silence. You'll see that the real power is not in words. It's the silence you choose. Dear friends, we've been on a long journey with Andrew Carnegie and the great from Leonardo da Vinci, kept secret in the notebook. Socrates listened in silence to Gandhi smiling at the fool. Carnegie was right. A wise man always hide three things from anyone. The secret to success. Desire to talk too much and react to fools. These things don't just bring wisdom. They are the key to a happy life. As you were directed, I hope you'll take a lesson with you today. Keep your dreams like Steve Jobs. Speak less like the Buddha. And silence in the face of stupidity like Mandela. Life is not easy, but I, too, will be more beautiful. When you live with wisdom and silence. If this video touches you, hit like, subscribe to the channel and share it with your loved ones. Because happiness is really worth it. Under the comments section, tell me what you're going to hide from today to live wiser and happier. I'm looking forward to your reply. Even if it's a secret you keep, a word you hold back, or once silent in front of a fool. Turn on the alarm so you don't miss the video. Next, live wisely, live happily. See you later.